They told you to, bro. You just keep doing it, bro. I don't know why you hate on me so much, bro. You lit, bro. You know what I mean? Your music is lit, bro. We signed to the same label. You still hate on me. You try to throw dirt on my name. You try to tell people not to work with me, bro. Man, bro, that's mad corny, bro. Nobody try to blackmail you, bro. Like, you act like a real female, bro.
Trippie Redd just dropped a bombshell. He hit play on a cold clip showing none other than 6ix9ine behind bars, and instantly the internet lost its mind. People first thought it was just another trolling stunt, but one chilling detail in that video made everyone hit rewind twice. And that's when things turned dark. The clip wasn't some random edit, it tied directly to what's really going down. On January 6, 2026, Daniel Hernandez, better known as Tekashi 6ix9ine, officially turned himself in to federal custody at MDC Brooklyn. He's serving a 3-month sentence for violating the terms of his supervised release connected to his 2019 racketeering case. But let's be real, it wasn't some quiet handover. 6ix9ine made it a whole spectacle. He went live as it all happened, with streamer Aiden Ross playing Akon's Locked Up while federal agents rolled in to take him away. The energy was pure theatrics, like he was trying to turn his own arrest into a viral event. Within hours, the footage spread everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. It captured 6ix9ine in those last wild moments before getting booked, cracking jokes and laughing about which famous inmates he might bump into. He even joked about sharing a cell with Nicolas Maduro or Luigi Man. The whole thing screamed clout chasing, performative to the max. But underneath all that noise, reality hit hard. Behind the jokes and the live stream hype, you could feel that uneasy tension, like he finally realized this time it's not just entertainment anymore. This wasn't 6ix9ine's first time stepping into MDC Brooklyn, far from it. He already knew those walls from his federal racketeering case back in 2018 and 2019. But this new trip back wasn't about old charges. It was about a whole pattern of chaos that Judge Paul Engelmeyer flat out called repeatedly blowing it, even after the courts had cut him way too many breaks. Everything was right there in the records. In October 2024, 6ix9ine got detained in New York after failing multiple drug tests, coming up positive for meth and Adderall. On top of that, he took off to Las Vegas and even the Dominican Republic without permission and didn't bother telling his probation officer about getting picked up overseas. They held him down for 2 straight weeks before releasing him again. Then came November 2024. Boom! He got slapped with a 45-day sentence for those same violations. You'd think he'd chill out after that, right? Nope. By December 2025, things spiraled again. He caught another 90-day sentence for more violations, more failed drug tests, still not reporting that Dominican Republic arrest, and skipping out on community service. It was like he couldn't stop tripping himself up no matter how many chances he got. And now, the January 2026 footage of his surrender has blown up, millions of views and counting. It's wild seeing a man who once dominated the Billboard charts now getting processed right back into federal custody. For Trippie Redd and everyone who's been watching this saga from day one, that image hits deep. It's the ultimate reminder that fame doesn't stop reality from catching up.
When I meet Trippie Redd, right, I take a flight to do an Adam 22 interview, right? I met him in New York. I told him I needed an interview. He probably like, yo, who's this underground rapper trying to get an interview with me, right?
Yeah, he did your first interview, right?
Then that didn't answer my call, but thank God he didn't answer my call.
This whole situation cuts way deeper than just another viral moment. It's personal. Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine's history runs back years, packed with both hits and heavy drama. They were tight in 2017, making music together under the same label, even talking about taking over the game. But things flipped fast. 6ix9ine later ordered an attack on Trippie Redd at a New York hotel lobby, an assault he actually pleaded guilty to during his federal case. That move changed everything between them. After that, Trippie never let it slide. For years, he clowned 6ix9ine in interviews, throwing shade and mimicking his testimony like it was part of his set list. Every time someone brought up 6ix9ine's name, Trippie made sure to remind everyone about that attack. Their feud went from a music rivalry to something way more personal and bitter. Now look at how life flipped the script. Trippie Redd is still outside, dropping tracks, headlining tours, and living free. Meanwhile, 6ix9ine is locked up in MDC Brooklyn, counting the days till spring 2026 before he can even think about stepping out again. That live stream of him joking while getting handed off to the feds, it's not just a random moment, it's the newest chapter in a feud that's been brewing for almost a decade. But if you really want to get why Trippie's reaction hit so hard, you gotta rewind back to where it all started, 2017. Picture it, studio sessions on Sunset Boulevard, late nights in an Airbnb out in Venice Beach, and private meetings at 888 Wilshire with Elliot Grange. That's where their story first started cracking, and the betrayal that followed turned it all into pure chaos.
So Andrew, who's Tribe Drew, said, yo, bro, you should do a song with this kid. He's hot on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So I hit him up on Instagram. He's like, yo, I'm actually a big fan of you. Let's meet up. I really didn't want to do a song with the nigga because I didn't like the nigga. Andrew liked the nigga, you know what I mean?
You gotta really see what these two had before everything fell apart. It all kicked off with one track, Polls 1469, the song that linked Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine for the first time. Back in 2017, the SoundCloud wave was exploding. New artists were popping up every week, and the whole scene was moving faster than anyone could track. In the middle of that storm stood two wild young rappers with face tats, rainbow-colored hair, and big dreams. Two names that would soon be forever tangled through music, mayhem, and one of hip-hop's most heated feuds ever. Trippie Redd, real name Michael Lamar White IV, was already building serious buzz. His underground tracks were catching ears left and right, pulling in fans who loved that emotional, melodic trap sound he brought to the table. Meanwhile, Daniel Hernandez, better known as Tekashi 6ix9ine, was hustling hard in New York City, grinding non-stop. He was shooting and editing his own music videos, stacking whatever little money he could find from side gigs just to afford flights to LA where he could chase interviews and collaborations to boost his name. Their connection came through Adam22, the host of No Jumper, who was basically the gatekeeper for the entire SoundCloud movement at that time. 6ix9ine has told this story plenty of times, how he scraped together a few $100 filming a random video for some guy at Home Depot, only to use that money to fly out to LA for his big break. But when he landed, the plan went sideways. Adam22 totally ghosted him, left him hanging with no studio, no meeting, nothing.
That moment lit a spark in 6ix9ine. It was the start of the wild journey that eventually brought Trippie Redd and him face to face, changing both their lives forever.
When we do the song, the next day, he's like, yo, let's shoot the video. So I'm like, I ain't got no money. Like, you know what I mean? But I ain't tell him that. You know what I mean? My team know I ain't got no money. I say, all right, bro, you got to pay for everything. He's like, all right, I got it. So he takes us to the desert. He pays like a couple $100 for the ATV excursion. Remember in the desert?
Yeah, right.
We tell the dude, yo, we gonna shoot a video real quick. We shot the video. And then when the video goes up, they start going crazy.
It was Adam22's homie Andrew, better known as Trippie Drew, who really sparked the whole thing. He was the one who put that battery in 6ix9ine's back with a suggestion that ended up flipping both of their careers upside down. The idea was simple but powerful. He told 6ix9ine, yo, there's this kid named Trippie Redd going wild on SoundCloud right now. You should hit his DMs and make something happen. That one move changed everything. That same night, they linked up in the Hitway studios and cooked up Polls 1469, the collab that would blow both their names across the SoundCloud scene like wildfire. The energy in the booth was crazy. The chemistry was instant, raw, and natural. Trippie was ready to keep the momentum going, saying they should shoot the video right away. But 6ix9ine, who was broke at the time but didn't dare admit it, agreed only if Trippie covered the costs. So they hit the desert the next day. Trippie dropped a few $100 to rent some ATVs, and what was supposed to be a chill hangout turned into a full-blown video shoot. 6ix9ine took charge behind the camera, flexing those videography skills he'd learned hustling his way up in New York. He edited the whole video that same night, no sleep, just grind, and dropped it the very next day. And boom, it exploded. The response went way beyond what either of them expected. Fans were eating it up, reposting, tagging, and hyping it non-stop. That video didn't just make noise, it got real industry attention. One of the biggest eyes watching was Elliot Grange, son of music mogul Lucian Grange, and the exec already working with Trippie Redd. Elliott hit up his connections to set up a face-to-face with 6ix9ine at his office at 888 Wilshire. That's where the SoundCloud dream officially turned into a record label reality. That meeting at 888 Wilshire changed everything. It ended with 6ix9ine officially signing to Elliott Grange around July or August 2017, landing him on the exact same label as Trippie Redd. On paper, it looked like a total win for both. Two artists on the come-up from the same SoundCloud wave who already proved they could make fire together. It felt like the start of something major. They kept the momentum rolling right away, dropping another collab called Ooey, which pushed their partnership even further into the spotlight. From the outside, everything looked perfect. Two young stars with the same rebellious image, face tats, wild rainbow hair, and that hard-hitting SoundCloud sound. They were feeding off each other's energy, stacking their buzz higher with every release. Industry heads were calling them the next big wave.
The jealousy coming. You don't gotta say the jealousy is loud. It's loud. Trippie got jealous. Why else come at me? We was friends. Why else? You tell me.
Well, not only were you friends, but you guys had commercial success.
Commercial success. So why hate on me?
Yeah, I don't get it.
You don't get it? I don't either.
Huh.
Out of nowhere, he just called me a...
But behind the cameras and flashy videos, cracks were already forming. 6ix9ine later admitted the jealousy started creeping in early. Even though they were under the same label, it quickly turned into a low-key competition for attention, money, and resources. As 6ix9ine's name started pulling more views and headlines, the vibe between him and Trippie shifted fast, and not in a good way. That brotherhood energy from the Poles 1469 days, gone. The friendship that started in a Sunset Boulevard studio was on a crash course towards destruction. The pressure, the fame, and the egos made it impossible to keep things cool. Soon, the whole thing would blow up in front of the entire internet. And when it did, it wasn't a quiet fade-out. Nah, it exploded. The fallout between Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine turned into pure chaos. Accusations flying, diss tracks dropping, and millions watching every move. What once looked like a solid creative bond became one of the wildest, most public meltdowns hip-hop had ever seen. Deteriorated real quick into an all-out war of accusations, each one more devastating than the last. The first major crack showed up when Trippie Redd hopped on social media and called 6ix9ine a file in front of everybody. The accusation was referencing 6ix9ine's 2015 guilty plea for using a 13-year-old girl in an actual performance, a case that had landed him probation, offender registration, and mandatory counseling. Trippie's public statement was direct and absolutely ruthless. "I'm sorry, bro. 14 don't promote files." That accusation hit 6ix9ine right where it hurt the most, a legal history that would haunt his career forever, and that his ops would weaponize every chance they got. For Trippie to put that on blast publicly after their collabs and their shared label affiliation, that was a clear line in the sand. Whatever relationship existed between them was now dead and buried.
Listen, apart Trippie Redd, there you go telling the truth again, there you go Stitch. All these rappers bad baby while she was underage. Come on, next thing. And she knows that they know it. But you know what? No, we like them. They kid.
6ix9ine's response was exactly what you'd expect from the confrontational persona he'd been cultivating all along. He filmed a video in his whip, eating food, addressing Trippie's attacks head-on, with this mix of confusion and aggression. Everybody was wondering what caused such a sudden and nasty turn in their relationship. Two artists who just dropped successful collabs, who were signed to the same label, who seemed positioned to build something major. What happened to make things go left so fast? Things went downhill instantly. The friendship between Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine didn't fade. It blew up into an all-out war of accusations, each one nastier than the last. The breaking point came when Trippie jumped on social media and publicly called out 6ix9ine as a file for the whole world to see. It was a bold and ruthless move that sent shockwaves through the entire hip-hop scene. Trippie's accusation pointed back to 6ix9ine's 2015 guilty plea involving a 13-year-old girl in an explicit performance, a legal history that had followed him throughout his rise to fame. Trippie didn't sugarcoat it. His statement was cold, sharp, and final. "I'm sorry, bro. 14 don't promote files." That line alone flipped the internet upside down. For
For Trippie to drag that into the public eye, especially after they'd made songs together and shared the same label, was wild. It wasn't just shade, it was war.
All the label's promo, love, attention, and investment. But once 6ix9ine went viral, the tables turned fast. Suddenly, all the spotlight, resources, and media hype started shifting toward him.
Gummo came out September, October. Y'all came up with the date, right? September, October 2017. Bro, if Gummo never, and you know Gummo's a Trippie Redd diss, right?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
KB was his enforcer. KB was his.
It was the ultimate reversal. 6ix9ine had officially moved from being the underdog on the roster to the main attraction. And while Trippie was still dropping heat, you could tell the energy had shifted. He was watching from the sidelines while 6ix9ine soaked up the fame and bragged about it publicly. The jealousy that 6ix9ine once accused Trippie of, it almost looked justified now, but in reality, it had just flipped sides. Trippie had every reason to feel some type of way about being replaced, and 6ix9ine made sure everyone knew he was loving the power switch. But here's where things got dark, real dark. The petty accusations, the label tension, and all that trolling online, that was just a warm-up. What came next pushed their beef off social media and into the real world, straight up violence. The feud that started over songs and clout soon turned into an attack that would end up documented in federal court with both their names tangled in it. By that point, it wasn't just a rap beef anymore. It was personal, messy, and dangerous. By late 2017, things went way past social media drama. The feud between Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine officially crossed the line into criminal territory. What started as a rap rivalry turned into something that would later be dissected in federal court. By this time, 6ix9ine had aligned himself with the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods, a New York street crew that acted as both his muscle and his entourage. They weren't just there for show, they made sure he was protected and had people ready to move whenever he gave the word. So when 6ix9ine found out Trippie was in New York shooting a music video, he decided to make a statement. He called up his squad, and that's when things got out of control.
Remember, me and Redd is on the same label, so he was supposed to blow up before me. So they were putting all the money into him. And the fact that when Gummo took off, the streets went crazy. Like, they fell in love with Gummo, and like, to the label, I became the priority, and they benched Trippie and they put me ahead, and it just felt so good because he talked so much.
The confrontation went down inside a New York hotel, turning what had been internet beef into a real-life ambush. 6ix9ine never tried to deny it either. He's openly talked about it in interviews with unsettling confidence. He's detailed exactly how the whole thing went down, almost like he was proud of it, describing moments from that night with precision that left no room for confusion. It wasn't just rumors, he basically confirmed his role, admitting he ordered the hit and took satisfaction in watching it unfold. According to him, the numbers were wildly uneven. Trippie reportedly had around 30 people with him, including friends and video crew, while 6ix9ine and his team pulled up just 4 deep. It was a deliberate move, less about numbers, more about making a statement. That night marked the point where the beef stopped being entertainment and became part of a criminal story that would follow both rappers for years to come. The hotel attack changed everything. That moment turned what had been a headline-grabbing feud into a case file with real consequences. From that point on, the beef between Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine stopped being just internet gossip. It became evidence, a key part of the federal investigation that would eventually take down 6ix9ine's entire circle. Word of the attack spread fast, and within weeks, the streets were buzzing. Videos, rumors, and shaky hotel footage started floating around, painting a picture of chaos that no one could fully verify, but everyone wanted to talk about. The blogs were eating it up, and fans were glued to every update.
Actually there when it happened?
Yes, I was there. I was on the corner.
Can you describe what happened?
Yeah, I pled guilty to it.
Okay, so let's go.
So let's give the fans what. So like I said, I pled guilty to the shit. The has a music video. I get the call. The nigga's here. I said, all right, bet, I'm on my way. I think I explained the story on Breakfast Club. Anyway, long story short, I follow her. He in a big sprint, I follow him. When I follow him, he stops in front of his hotel. Jump out, 50 is looking around like, what's up? So, like, yo, what's poppin', peace up, yo, what's...
Behind the scenes, though, the feds were watching closely. They were already building a massive case against the 9 Trey set, tracking their moves, their money, and their violence. The attack on Trippie Redd became one more piece of the puzzle, a documented moment that connected 6ix9ine directly to street activity. And once those indictments hit in 2018, the story went nuclear. Suddenly, everything tied to 6ix9ine, the music, the fame, the trolling, was overshadowed by his federal charges. The same energy he used to fuel his career was now working against him. The live streams, the bragging, the constant need to prove himself, it all became evidence. Trippie, meanwhile, stayed clear of the legal chaos. He distanced himself completely, focusing on music and tours, while the internet kept replaying clips of the old feud like it was part of a true crime documentary. Every diss, every interview, every move was being dissected in real time. That hotel moment didn't just spark a fight, it started a chain reaction that would change hip-hop history. What began as 2 artists battling for clout ended with one locked behind bars and the other standing as proof that fame and loyalty can flip on you overnight. By the time 2018 rolled around, the situation was completely out of control. 6ix9ine's world was unraveling fast. The FBI and federal prosecutors weren't just building a case against the 9 Trey crew, they were connecting dots from every single move he made, every flex he posted online. The hotel incident with Trippie Redd became one of the cornerstone events in that investigation, showing how deep 6ix9ine's ties to street life really went.
Trippie's in the midst of 30 people. It's 4 of us. It's 4 of us. Trippie's in the midst of 30 people. Remember, I pled guilty to this. This shit was set in court. Just rocked Trippie's grills out his mouth, like his grills flew 10 feet in the air. Word to my mom, his grills, that went through the revolving doors. He came in spinning and left spinning.
And once those indictments dropped later that year, it felt like a movie. One day, 6ix9ine was topping charts, performing sold-out shows and living loud. And the next, he was in cuffs, facing decades behind bars. His arrest sent shockwaves through the rap game. Every headline, every clip, every leaked courtroom detail had people glued to their screens. And that's when the story took its most shocking twist. To save himself from a life sentence, he flipped. He cooperated with federal agents, giving them inside info on the same gang that had once backed him up. Overnight, he went from one of the most feared names in hip-hop to one of the most controversial. The internet couldn't stop talking. Memes, debates, endless arguments about whether he was smart or just a sellout flooded every platform. Trippie Redd didn't have to say a word. His silence spoke volumes. While 6ix9ine was testifying in court, Trippie was in the studio, stacking hits and reminding people that he'd survived one of the messiest feuds in modern rap. Fans started to see the contrast clear as day. One artist behind bars, the other still thriving, still creating, still on top of his game.
Into the hotel, it's a talk about, I'm 9 Trey, blah, blah, blah. So I go to that nigga up, and it's a next to him, bro. And it stole on me and hit me in my mouth. Because this is the only thing that happened to Trippie Redd, bro. The nigga hit me one time, bro, and then my niggas beat their ass.
That was the moment the Trippie Redd versus 6ix9ine saga officially split into 2 paths, one marked by betrayal in courtrooms, the other by redemption and resilience. And even though years have passed since that chaos, the shadow of that feud still lingers over both their legacies. By the time the dust finally settled, the story of Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine had become one of hip-hop's most infamous rivalries. What started as 2 young artists chasing the same dream turned into a cautionary tale about ego, loyalty, and how fame can twist everything out of control. 6ix9ine's rise and fall played out like a movie. Viral hits, public feuds, courtroom drama, and headlines that never stopped coming. Even after walking free, the stain of everything that went down still follows him. Every new song, every comeback attempt, people can't help but remember the chaos that built his name. His legacy? Complicated. Part success story, part scandal, and completely unforgettable. Meanwhile, Trippie Redd kept pushing forward. He stayed focused on the music, dropped project after project, and built a career that proved staying true to your craft pays off in the long run.
What is the situation with you and 6ix9ine right now?
I honestly don't know. It's just the internet. Bro, just keep bringing me up. That's all it is. We already had squash what we was talking about. He pulled up on me and we talked about that. He wasn't even on nothing I was on because, you know, I'm crazy, you feel me? So I was trying to fight. He wasn't trying to fight. He wanted to talk about it. He wanted to talk it out.
While 6ix9ine's story became about survival and spectacle, Trippie's became about growth and longevity. Their feud might have started with studio sessions and SoundCloud dreams, but it ended up shaping an entire era of online hip-hop drama. Fans still debate who came out on top, who was really right, and who lost the most. But one thing's for sure, that rivalry left a permanent mark on the culture. At the end of the day, it's a wild reminder that in this industry, fame can flip to fallout real quick. So whatever side you're on, Team Trippie or Team 6ix9ine, there's no denying both of them changed the game in their own crazy way. If you've been locked in with this story, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Let us know, whose side of this saga do you believe? Was it all clout chasing or just two stars caught in a storm? Either way, this one's going down in rap history, no question about it.